Hello and welcome to our video lesson. Today we are tackling understanding liability insurance, what it is and why you or your business needs it. This is a YouTube video lesson that provides an overview of liability insurance for businesses. The video covers the basics of liability insurance, including what it is, how it works, and why it's important for businesses to have. The lesson begins by defining liability insurance and explaining the different types of liability coverage that are available, such as general liability, professional liability, and product liability insurance. The video then delves into the key features of liability insurance policies, such as policy limits, deductibles, and exclusions. We will also discuss the benefits of liability insurance for businesses, including financial protection against potential lawsuits and claims. Explain how liability insurance can help cover the costs of legal fees, settlements, and judgments related to liability claims. We provide real-world examples and scenarios to help illustrate key concepts and make the information more relatable. The lesson is presented in an engaging and accessible format, making it a useful resource for business owners and anyone interested in learning more about liability insurance. Overall, understanding liability insurance, what it is and why your business needs it, is a helpful YouTube video lesson that provides a clear and comprehensive introduction to liability insurance for businesses. Please join us. To understand liability insurance, we need to understand what liability is and how it arises. Personal, business or professional liability arises when there is a breach of duty of care by a person as an individual or an entity resulting into or causing harm to another party, usually referred to as a third party, as an individual or an entity as a result of their activities. Liability may arise when an individual or organization is held responsible for causing harm to a third party as an individual or an entity in a shared public space or as a result of their activities. What is duty of care? Duty of care refers to the legal obligation of an individual or entity to take reasonable care to avoid causing harm to others. This duty applies to many different situations, such as in the workplace, in the provision of services, or in the use of products. The duty of care requires individuals or entities to take reasonable steps to prevent foreseeable harm to others. Failure to fulfill the duty of care can result in liability for damages or injuries caused to others. History of liabilities concept. The concept of liability has been a part of human society for thousands of years. In ancient civilizations such as the Babylonians, the Code of Hammurabi established laws that held individuals responsible for their actions and required them to provide compensation for damages or injuries they caused others. In medieval Europe, liability was also recognized as a legal concept, with individuals and organizations being held responsible for the harm they caused to others. Liability was enforced through various legal systems, including common law and civil law. As society evolved, liability became increasingly important in business and commerce. Liability insurance policies were first introduced in the United States in the late 19th century, as companies sought protection against the financial risks of being held liable for damages or injuries caused by their products or services. Today, liability is a fundamental concept in law, business, and insurance. Liability laws and regulations continue to evolve, as governments and organizations strive to balance the needs of individuals and society with the risks and responsibilities of individuals and organizations. Relationship between liability and common law. Liability is a fundamental concept in common law, which is a legal system that is based on judicial decisions and legal precedents rather than on written laws. Under common law, liability refers to the legal responsibility of an individual or organization for harm or damage caused to another person or entity. In common law, liability is determined by a court of law based on the facts of a particular case and the application of legal principles and precedents. The court will consider factors such as whether the defendant had a duty of care to the plaintiff, whether the defendant breached that duty, and whether the breach caused harm or damage to the plaintiff. Common law liability is often used in cases of negligence, which is the failure to exercise reasonable care in a given situation. For example, if a driver causes an accident because they were texting while driving, they may be held liable for any harm or damage caused to other drivers, passengers, or pedestrians. Overall, the relationship between liability and common law is intertwined, with liability being a key concept that is applied in common law to determine legal responsibility and accountability for harm or damage caused to others. Relationship between liabilities and civil laws. Liabilities and civil laws are closely related in that civil laws provide the legal framework for liabilities to be established and enforced. In general, liabilities refer to a company's or individual's legal obligations or debts to others. These obligations can arise from contracts, legal judgments, or other legal obligations. Civil laws, on the other hand, are laws that govern private disputes between individuals, organizations, or entities. These laws define the legal rights and obligations of parties in a dispute and provide legal remedies to those who have suffered harm as a result of another's actions. In the context of liabilities, civil laws provide the means to enforce a company's or individual's obligations to pay debts or other obligations owed to others. For example, if a person or company fails to pay a debt owed to another party, the creditor can file a civil lawsuit seeking a judgment against the debtor, and if successful, the court can order the debtor to pay the amount owed. Additionally, civil laws can also provide protections for creditors to ensure that they are paid what they are owed. For example, civil laws may allow creditors to place a lien on a debtor's property or assets in order to secure repayment of a debt. In summary, liabilities and civil laws are closely intertwined, as civil laws provide the legal framework for liabilities to be established and enforced, and also provide protections for creditors to ensure that they are paid what they are owed. What are liability insurance policies? Liability insurance policies are types of insurance that provide financial protection to the insured person or organization in the event that they are held legally responsible for causing harm or damage to others. Liability insurance policies can cover a range of liabilities, such as bodily injury, property damage, or personal injury. For example, if you are a business owner and a customer slips and falls down while on your property, your liability insurance policy may cover the medical expenses and any legal fees associated with the customer's injury. If you are a driver and you cause an accident that damages another person's car, your liability insurance policy may cover the cost of repairing the other person's vehicle. Liability insurance policies are important for individuals and businesses to protect themselves from the financial risks of being held liable for harm or damage to others. The coverage and premiums of liability insurance policies vary depending on the specific type of policy and the level of risk involved. The type of liability insurance policy that an individual or organization needs will depend on the nature of their business, the risks they face, and the level of protection they require. Types of liability insurance. There are several types of liability insurance policies available to individuals and organizations, each designed to provide coverage for different types of liabilities. Some common types of liability insurance policies include: 1. Public liability insurance. 2. Product liability insurance. 3. Professional liability insurance. 4. Directors and officers liability. 5. Cyber liability insurance. 6. Cyber liability insurance. 7. Environmental liability insurance. In our next video, we will look at each of the above policies in depth, what they cover, and how they apply in daily life.